This is David with The Verge, and this is the Wii U. It's Nintendo's brand new gaming console. The Wii U is partly Nintendo trying to move forward into 2012 with better graphics and a better machine, but it's partly Nintendo trying to keep doing what was so successful on the Wii all those years ago. But let's start with the hardware. The console itself is kind of huge. It's almost a foot long, and it weighs about 3.5 pounds. It's glossy, and it picks up fingerprints like crazy. It's just kind of ugly, but fortunately you can hide it in the stack by your TV and never really pay attention to it. Then there's the Gamepad, which is by far the most interesting thing about the Wii U. It's also big, and it actually feels like a portable console by itself. It has a 6.2-inch 854 by 480 touchscreen in the middle, along with 2 analog sticks, a directional pad, 4 buttons, and even a microphone and front-facing camera. It really is its own self-contained thing. The screen is pretty good, sharp enough, and colors look fine, but it's not nearly on the level of most tablets we've seen. The Gamepad really dictates how you use the console, and there seems to be a lot of debate over how best to use the Gamepad with the Wii U. In some cases, it acts like a second screen, adding supplementary content and options to what you already see on the TV. Other times, it's just a mirror showing exactly what you see on the TV. And that's when it becomes most like a portable console. And I actually found myself going long periods of time without looking at the TV at all and just playing on the Gamepad. Then there are times when you use the Gamepad exclusively, like when you make a Mii character. It's kind of odd, and it can all get kind of confusing. You're constantly seeing pop-ups saying things like, look at the TV, or look at the Gamepad, and it's not always clear what you're actually supposed to be doing or looking at. I got to test 6 of the Wii U launch titles, and each of the games works a little bit differently. Super Mario Bros. U is one of the most fun games, but it's really nothing special for the Wii U. It's just a really good Mario game with the gameplay mirrored on the Gamepad and your TV. There's no lag at all, and as long as you're within 25 feet or so of the console, there's no interruption in the connection either. Other games like Nintendo Land didn't do as much for me. The game is like a big amusement park filled with rides and games you can play, but you spend a ton of time learning how to play each game. Each game makes you use a different combination of the Gamepad and the TV, and it's just awkward and confusing at times. The games are a lot of fun, but it's just kind of an odd world to navigate. FIFA 13 has some of the coolest features with the Gamepad. You can actually set your lineup on the fly, or even aim your shots and passes just using the touchscreen. But the resistive touchscreen on the Gamepad is really awful, and everything takes so long to actually get to register that you've probably already been scored on anyway. Ninja Gaiden probably does the best job of the games that I tested. You don't specifically need to use the Gamepad, and you can actually always stay focused on the TV. But the Gamepad lets you use special moves or change weapons. It's just supplementary, and it never takes your focus away from the game while you look up or down. The Gamepad is central to almost everything you do, but there are other types of controllers as well. The Wii Remote from the last generation system is required for almost all multiplayer games, and you don't get one with the system, which is a bummer. There's also a controller that's basically the Gamepad without the screen, which feels like a normal console controller, and it works okay too. Except there's one weird big problem. The buttons are laid out differently from any other console. The most used button is A, which on every other console is located on the bottom of the diamond of buttons. And here it's on the side. It's incredibly hard to get used to. I never did, even after hours and hours of playing games. One thing we didn't really get to test was the media features on the Wii U, which actually makes me kind of nervous. Nintendo really missed out with internet features on the Wii. And though there are apparently apps for Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, and YouTube on the Wii U, they're not here yet and might not make launch at all. At the moment, the Wii U just isn't a great console. The Gamepad might be a really useful accessory at some point, but for now it's being used poorly more often than it's being used well. When it works, the system's a lot of fun to play. No, the graphics aren't great, but the Wii U could eventually have the same kind of appeal as the Wii. You can buy the Wii U for $299.99 or get the deluxe version for $349.99. The deluxe version gets you 32 gigs of storage instead of 8, plus a bunch of stands and chargers and a copy of Nintendo Land. You should definitely get the deluxe package, if only for the storage. But unless you really want to buy it right now, I'd say wait before you buy the Wii U. I think eventually more developers will figure out the best ways to use the Gamepad, but for now it's a mix of really cool and complicated and confusing and frustrating. And most of all, wait and see what Microsoft and Sony have coming next year.